I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Yeah.
There's parts of this movie that I'm like, holy crap, this is brilliant. And there was parts of it that scared me.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking in the audience and I'm going, what the hell are you laughing at? When I walked out of the theater after watching American Fiction, I'm like, I gotta talk to Court. I'm like, I need to talk to him.
That's amazing. That's exactly what I had in mind when I made this movie. To me, the best art, the art that I sort of, my metric for a really good piece of art
Yes.
is if I'm thinking about it after I've consumed it. And sort of like, am I thinking about this book a year after I read it? Am I thinking about this movie that I saw weeks after I saw it? Like, the biggest heartbreak to me would be if somebody left the theater and was just like, oh, okay, what am I gonna get for lunch now? And it's like sort of like there and gone. I love the idea, like people have told me that as soon as they left the theater, they started talking to their friends and colleagues and were like, I really want to discuss this with you now and see what you thought about this scene and this conversation. That to me is thrilling. It's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want people, I wanted to sort of like affect people and have them say like, I want to talk about this. So that's exactly what I wanted.
No, we legit were we were walking home. We all had like 3 different places to go, but we all ended up like, okay, I'll just walk up the street with you. Okay, fine, I'll just walk up the street with you. Okay, I'll just keep
That's
talking.
great. And that to me is what's great about movies is like it's a social event. And that's to me what one of the sad things that's happening with sort of cinema is that people aren't, more people are staying home to watch things on video on demand and not necessarily going to the theater. But I think that consuming a really great movie with a bunch of people around you, there's no more wonderful feeling. It's the same as like going to a live show or seeing like a stand-up comedian or an improv show, like, or live theater. Like, to me, you can't replicate the experience of just consuming something that you really enjoy around a bunch of people. There's just
100%.
something nice about being in the theater.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We walk out of that theater, 3 black people with 3 sort of different lived experiences, 3 different black experiences. We all actually interpret the film differently. How do you want it to be understood? Like what is like the main message? I'm trying my best here to sum this up in 5 minutes because I'm getting wrapped up. But I legit was like, no, we need a round table.
Yeah.
I'm like, we need a round table because there's certain parts. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Yeah.
There's parts of this movie that I'm like, holy crap, this is brilliant, and there was parts of it that scared me.
Yeah.
I'm looking in the audience and I'm going, what the hell are you laughing at?
I've heard this from 3 separate people.
Okay, I'm glad I'm being honest. I'm glad
It's
you
not
decided
just
to be
you.
honest. 'Cause I'm
I
like,
promise, it's not just you.
What the hell are you laughing at? So now I'm, but then I'm laughing at something and I'm going, oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't laugh. So,
Exactly.
So I want to know, like, is there a correlation between Monk and Cord? Or
How meta is it?
how meta is it?
I would say that, yeah, there's certainly parts of me that I've put into the movie. Like there's everything that I work on. There are parts of me and aspects of my personality and identity and my worldview floating on in there. But the thing that I want to avoid doing is saying like what the intent or the message is. The intent is to do what we're doing right now.
Discuss.
The intent is to do what you did with your friends after you left the theater, which is talk about it. That's the intent. That's why there are no easy answers. Like these issues of identity and race and class and politics, I think that we all need, as a collective society, to start being more comfortable with not knowing the answers and like understanding that there is no right answer to this stuff. There is no one way to sort of do this. There is no one way to think about these. These are very incredibly complex and nuanced things.
Yeah.
And as you said, like everybody has different lived experiences. So despite the fact that we sort of like have this universal understanding of blackness in some sense, all of our personal experiences, we bring all of that baggage to the table when it comes to these issues. And so trying to pretend that there's a world in which we can have a singular answer and like have a singular idea about this is crazy. I think that for me, that's what I want people to take away from the movie is like, there's scenes where it's like, I don't even know how I feel about certain scenes.
Okay.
I don't even know, like that scene with Sintara and Monk at the end when they're just talking about their different ideologies when it comes to making art as a black person. I don't know who I agree with in that scene, and that's why to me it's like one of my favorite scenes in the film.
Yeah.
Like, that's the intention, is walking away saying like, here's an idea. here's an idea, and now it's up to you to decide which one would you agree with, which idea sort of motivates you, or which idea sort of like causes you to think about things. Like, it's up to interpretation, and that's my favorite kind of movie. Is I don't want to spoon feed people an answer.
Then I have to ask you this, because I love that, and that makes me feel bad. I keep on looking at Cody, because we've been talking about this ever since we walked out the theater. The thing that I guess scared me or worried me was the couple people I was pointing at. I'm going, are they going to have the conversations? Do they have someone in their social circle to challenge a thought or to add a different perspective? If not, I'm like worried, can people take the wrong message from it, where it's like, oh, we don't want to hear about the black guys getting killed. We're tired of hearing about, how hard it is for them, and, because there is that narrative.
Absolutely.
Especially now. Like,
absolutely.
The summer of 2023 is completely different than the summer of 2020. That enthusiasm to hear us, see us, and amplify our voices, that's depleted.
Absolutely.
So that's what worried me, was like, what if somebody watches this and doesn't get it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a windy day. Whoops. Because I felt like again, I'm like, wait, what are you laughing at?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that wasn't actually supposed to be really funny, but you took it funny, and so that's the part that scared me.
Yeah. I think that, look, I have no idea if that's going to happen.
Right.
It very well may. I have no clue. But I could never sit down to make something worried about how the audience will respond. Because if you do that, you immediately limit yourself and you limit your creative abilities, and you're terrified. You're sort of like, because everything, at least in my mind, every piece of art that I usually end up enjoying feels like it is, like somebody is really exposing a vulnerable place of themselves and really showing you sort of like this is, this is how I feel about things. Like, can we find a connection here? Like, at the end of the day, like, that's what art is like saying, like, this is how I think about these things sometimes. Like, do you think about these things sometimes? And like, let's start a dialogue. And like, let me show you how I feel. And so that, I think, is what I did. And so if people, I don't think that there is a wrong message. Right. That's the thing. I don't know that there is a wrong way to interpret the film. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to interpret the film the way that they want to interpret the film, and I can't do anything about that. But that being said, like, I would say that I think it's also important to keep in mind that people laugh for a lot of different reasons.
True.
Sometimes people laugh because they're nervous.
True.
Sometimes people laugh because they're uncomfortable. Sometimes, like, people don't just laugh because they find something funny. People laugh because they sort of recognize themselves in something. And it's like, oh my God, that's exactly like what I said, though that's so embarrassing.
Right.
And I'm laughing because I'm embarrassed.
Right.
I'm laughing because I did that last week. And so I would also sort of hesitate to say that laughter signifies anything about how somebody is feeling, because there's a lot of different ways that people laugh also.
Well, it was more than me and Cody talking about it. Variety's been talking about it, and there's a lot of buzz, and it seems like you start getting into Oscar conversations. So how does that feel?
I always say that if you get into writing to earn money or earn awards, then that is a horrible profession to get into. It is a very, very difficult road. There's tons of rejection. I'm 41. This is the first opportunity. I've been working in entertainment for about 10 years.
Okay.
It's the first time in a decade I've ever been allowed to make something of my own. I've worked on a lot of projects for other people in TV that I really love, and I really appreciate those opportunities, but any time that I've gone to somebody and said, will you allow me to make this thing that I wrote, it's just been rejection after rejection after rejection for a decade. When the producers that produced this film, T Street, when they told me that they wanted to make the movie, I started crying in the meeting, just because I've just been told no so many times, and it gets so frustrating and difficult to continue. I'd never wanted to make this movie to win awards or to earn money. Like, I wanted to make this movie because I really believed in it, and it was an important project to me. That being said, I love the actors in this film. I love the cast.
This cast is unreal.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I think that frequently, we have this conversation basically every other year now in the United States, that when it comes time, for awards discussions, frequently these like incredibly talented black actors are looked over and passed over, and you know, we've had this conversation for years.
I think I sat right here and had this conversation with Viola last year.
Really? Yeah, exactly. And so to me, I just think that some validation and attention to these actors, I think, is incredibly important. And I think that sort of like us acknowledging some of our, like Jeffrey Wright is kind of universally beloved as an actor. You know, like I honestly believe that he's one of this generation's greatest acting talents. And, you know, he deserves some awards recognition. Like I want more people. I want him to be a household name. I want people to say like, oh yeah, like that's Jeffrey Wright. He's like amazing. His ability is off the charts. And so I think that if the awards help people get some of that, sort of start to recognize these people who have long been under-recognized, then I'm all for that.
I'll close by saying this. This is a heck of a directorial debut.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And it reminded me,
it.
and I'm so super grateful because it reminded me that of these words I put together post 2020 when I was thinking and reflecting a lot.
Yeah.
Which was, there is discovery on the other side of the discomfort. And to sit through it is really all you need to do in order for those blessings to be unlocked. So thank you for reminding me of that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to the film, and thank you for having me.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is good. Thank you. My man. Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.